Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Emily. In today's video I will be creating this fun interactive card. You can see I created a candy jar and I am making this candy jar be dimensional on the outside, and when you open the card it will continue into the inside. So I will share with you how easy this effect is to create and how I also stamped a bunch of images and colored them in smoothly. So you can see I actually took the entire stamp set and inked it up inside of my MISTI. So you can see I'm just having a mat that is a little bit sticky, so I can do this. And you can also see I attached my cardstock this time to the door instead of to the inside of my panel here, or MISTI. I'm using a tool just to make it evenly pressured, and then I stamped all of those in one go, and you can clean them so you don't have to fuss around with the stamps too much. There is also two different sets to color these in. I'm using the one that is building dimension and color, and I'm also using Trinity's new blending brushes. I think they work perfectly for projects like this. You can see they are two-toned and super small, and the brush is just going over my little lollipop here. If you would like some other colors you can definitely do that, but I went with these three colors. They are all pink, so you can see how easy that was. If you need to mask something off you can always do that, but I found that I rarely had to do that. The space between the stencils are really great, and you can sort of angle your brush to be inside of the candies here. For the jar itself, I don't know if I think I not ended up using this for this particular card, but you can see you can give this some shadows. I decided to run this through my machine, and now we can start working on our card front. So this would be a slimline card, and the measurements for these could vary depending on what type of image you're using. So I just used the stamp itself to make sure that I had room on all of the sides for this. Then I'm using the coordinating die, opening my cardstock or card base up so I don't run it through both sides. And there we go, we have our card sort of finished. For this I wanted to create a shaker card, so you can see I'm taking this and some acetate and just cutting under, just tilting my scissor to cut underneath, and we have the perfect sort of acetate lid for our card candy jar here. I will attach this to some foam that I also cut with the same dies. You can see how that turns out, really cute. And then we can fill this jar up. I'm using a mix from Trinity that has this sort of muted toned color in the rainbow. I really like this mix. It also complements the coloring that I did for my candy. Making sure that I have room for all of that and pressing it down. You can see I have some blue cardstock in the back, and I will cut underneath this after it has dried a little bit more. Here you can see I have some teal paper that I want to be the exact same size as my card front. So I am just making sure that I have it in the right position with some low-tack adhesive and then cutting it. And you can see that it perfectly fits on top of my card base. So now we have some fun color to the front of this as well. Now it's time to cut carefully around our shaker, making sure that nothing is coming out of that. So that went super nice, and we have our shaker element ready. For the inside I wanted the same color of cardstock so it matches. So I'm making sure that it's the right size. Just pressing it down. And now it's time to work on our mechanism here, because I want this to be standing out. So now I'm making sure that I have the lowest point, so I know exactly how short that piece has to be. And then I want to have that. And the width of this could be long because I have a lot of space. And then the same size, and then it has to be long again, as long as the longest was. So that it's the same size. I hope this makes sense. This also depends on your card. You will see that the only measurement that is important was the one I did when I looked through how much space I had on the lowest point there, because otherwise it will show through. So I hope that makes sense. Now I'm just attaching this together, so I have this square that I can attach to my card on the inside. So now I'm just gluing it to two sides and just making sure that this is gripping nicely. So that is the only mechanism you have to do, and the space you see here is the space I'm gonna press my jar into. So you can see here. I mentioned earlier that I used foam for giving this jar the dimension for the shaker element. That foam is peeking out at the top there, so I actually need to go and cut this slightly so it's the same size as my die. For the sentiment for this card, I'm using the dies from the Simply Sentimental Special, and I also will use a companion sentiment from the stamp set for that set. So you will see it here in a second. I will heat emboss that in black and white. The sentiment is in gold, matte gold cardstock from Altenew, and some vellum from Trinity Stamps. And the sentiment, as I said, will be heat embossed. So I'm just making sure that I know that I will have room for this. And of course, dimension is beautiful on any project. So I cut these teeny tiny bits of foam tape. You can see how little those are. I really want them to be covered. So this is something I do for nearly all of my projects. So there you go, you can see I can overlap it at one of the sides and it will still be perfect and be able to be moving. So here we go, we have our sentiment. I think it will say special birthday or extra special birthday. Super cute. And for the inside I will actually embellish that one a little bit more as well. I will take some of those confetti parts and some lollipops to just be in the lower corner there. I think that really turned out nicely. I had some space and I also thought it looked a little bit empty down there. So that is cute, and then some confetti as well. So here we go, we have a close-up of the finished card. I hope you enjoyed this video and got inspired to create something with an interactive element. These actually has two, right? So we have the shaker part and the pop-up feature. I had a ton of fun creating this project. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I will have links down below for the products I used in this video, and thank you so much for stopping by. Bye!